Hey, 4xe fans, kind of curious what your plans are for your next Jeep. I personally plan on keeping this Jeep for 10, 12, 15 years. I'm not sure. I'm actually I actually want to drive this thing to the end. I don't know what the end looks like for me, but I actually want to drive it for as long as I'm able to drive it, and I have no plans on updating things anytime soon, like anytime soon at all. My plans from the beginning was 10, 12, 15 years, whatever happens. And I'm kind of curious what your plans are for your next Jeep. There are a lot of things in the pipeline, a lot of conversations, a lot of, things get unveiled at different auto shows and all that stuff. So I just posted a poll here on YouTube that I think you can find it if you go to my channel. I've never really been really good at giving directions on how to find those things. But I just uploaded a poll, and the question is, what are your plans for your next Jeep? Full electric, plug-in hybrid, or gas model? What do you want to go with your next Jeep? There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just kind of curious where those are that follow this channel, where you are with that, where you would prefer it. And there's no need getting into all the political nonsense discussions of all that stuff. It's just a poll just to ask the question of what do you think would be your next. I would be open to an electric down the road. Like if lightning struck this thing in 5 years and it burned to the ground or whatever, and there's an electric on the market, I would be open to it, as long as it had enough range and as long as it made sense to our family. And when I say make sense to our family, my wife and I have a vehicle each, and our two younger sons that live with us still, they have their own cars. And like in my case, years ago, before I got this, I had a Smart electric drive. And if you're not familiar with the Smart, I think it's rated at 68 miles as an EV. And a neat little car. I kind of miss it. I kind of wish I would have kept it, but it was an electric vehicle, but it only had 68 miles of range. It only had a 17.6 kilowatt hour battery, just a little bit bigger than what's in the Jeep, and it was rated at 68 miles. Real world, I was getting like 60 miles. And that vehicle made sense for us because I had access to other vehicles in the family if I needed something else. If it was like my only vehicle, that would have been a hard sell, because if you need to take a trip somewhere or whatever, it would have been a difficult proposition, I think. But I would be open to it, and to go on electric if it made sense in our family, if the range was there, and if it worked out. I'd really like to see something like a series hybrid where the engine's kind of deprioritized and it has more electric range. But I understand the issues with that from an engineering perspective, that it would be difficult to give a Wrangler any kind of electric range and keep the weight off and keep the costs down. So something's going to have to be done with the Wrangler. And but I would be open, but I'm going to see what happens when I reach what I feel is end of life of this vehicle. We will see. You never know what's going to, at 11 years when the warranty's gone and the battery goes, what's the price tag going to be? I don't know. We'll find out at the time, I guess. But I'll be curious as to what happens at that time. But anyway, I'm just curious in your thinking right now. It's hard to speculate. I know nobody has a crystal ball or anything, but in your thinking right now, what do you think would be your next Jeep? And would it be something full electric? Would it be plug-in hybrid? And or are you just done with this whole electric thing and you're just going to go back to a gas version? And so that's the question. And if you can go to that poll, you can answer it in the comments down below. But I'd kind of like people to answer that on that poll, because I just kind of like to see that in the numbers. We're running a similar poll right now in the Jeep 4xe fans Facebook group, and right now it's looking like, I think it's like 38% of the people who responded said they would go all electric later for their next vehicle, which comes really close to, I think the national average is something like 45% of current car owners say they would entertain the idea of electric going forward. And so that is up from a few years ago, where people would not consider that, at least that percentage would not consider it. So that's changing over time, as our sensibilities tend to do in culture. So it's really kind of curious. So it was kind of interesting how close we came to aligning with what the studies are showing of just average everyday people that aren't in the Jeep community. So if you could go give that poll a hit and give it a vote. And like I said, there's no right or wrong answer to this. This is just me being curious. Thanks for watching.